Libra rising. How you doing, Libra? This is your reading for the Gemini full moon, and on the 15th of December 2024. It's after the event. It happened how many hours ago? Nearly 3.5 hours ago. But don't worry, I work with 6-month cycles, so what comes through in these readings is going to serve you over the next 6 months. That leads you up to the Gemini new moon next year in Gemini season. Apologies for the delay though. The reason why is because of the Mars retrograde series that I did. Took a little longer than anticipated, but that's a huge transit. Mars retrogrades every 2 years, the least out of all the celestial bodies, and it's really a big, like, the energy that came through that was really powerful. There's 50% off all of the personal readings focused on the Mars retrograde. Email me directly if you want one of those discounts. And the lunations from over the next couple of months are going to play a pivotal role in upgrading what's going on with Mars. Hello and welcome. My name's Chloe. I work with card divination, astrology, and I channel multi-dimensional energies through my body, both in the form of physical and vocal light language. All of this brings in healing, attunement, and activation codes to the messages that come through in this reading. Now, I read for the rising signs. So for those of you who don't have Libra in the first house, look to the house that it does fall in, the themes of that house, and you want to apply those themes along with all the other meaning you've got going on in the sign of Libra to the messages that come through in this reading. It will be as if that Libra energy has now energetically moved to the first house, so the astrology for the rising sign will still link in. You just got to add on your own natal chart meaning on top of it. As always, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. For example, I've got Libra in the third house, so I'd apply the themes of the third house to this reading, and I've also got the asteroid Juno there, so I'd add that on top. So let's get on with it. Firstly, I want to say I've done a collective reading. Now, this is where I've broken down the exact astrology, how everything is talking to each other at the exact moment of the full moon in way more detail, all the aspects, all the layers. And I've also pulled collective tarot in that reading, and it blew my mind. Almost everything that I was saying was showing up immediately in the tarot. So it was a very powerful connection that went on there. So as channeled messages and bigger themes. So if you want a deeper understanding of this moon, pause this video, go watch the collective reading and come back, because it acts as a baseline for the all 12 signs series. I also pulled these oracle cards. I always do it first, but the oracle reading will follow after the all 12 signs series. Right, let's get into it. So firstly, I'm going to be shuffling some tarot cards while I'm talking about the astrology for Libra rising. There's going to be 2 piles here on the selenite. The first pile is going to be what's going to be the download that comes in with this full moon. Yes, full moons mark completion, but then with that we get a download that we then work with over the next 6 months, and that's what's going to show up in pile 1. Pile 2 is going to be how to work with this energy. We're also going to get the card at the bottom of the deck, and if the deck is split when that happens, you'll get the split card as well. I'm also going to be pulling some cards on Mercury going direct. Now, it's retrograde at the exact moment of the full moon. It goes direct 12 hours after that. So I'm going to pull some cards on what energy you're going to be working with in terms of that direct motion that takes you up to the 3rd of January. I'll talk more about why that is when we get to those cards. I'm also going to pull some oracle cards as well. So where is this beautiful, very powerful full moon happening for you, my lovely Libra, as well? It's in a fellow air sign, in the sign of Gemini, and this is in your 9th house of your perspectives, how you map yourself out in the world, your morals, your ethics, your philosophies, your connection to book, religion, source, nature, science, all of those matrices that are bigger than you, that you know you're a part of, and how do you want to show up for them? What do they mean to you? And how do you map yourself out in this world? It's also about mastering of something you've been working on for a while, and teaching and therefore sharing your perspectives. We're not here to change people's minds, that's up to them. We're here to share. It's also linked into going and living somewhere for a longish period of time in order to broaden your perspectives. Itala, Diana, so a full moon in this sign. What does this mean? Well, an upgrade in your perspectives, right? An elevation of how you map yourself out in the world. Itiala, Dianima. You might be mastering something during this time. Ituela, you're then going to be implementing over the next 6 months. How you communicate and share your perspectives, how you understand and figure things out. It's like higher learning. For some of you, this might be activating a dream and a desire to go and move and live somewhere else for a while. And this is perhaps part of that cycle coming into fruition. So overall, this full moon is going to be really releasing you of some old perspectives that no longer serve you. The ninth house can get a bit of a bashing at the moment because of everything that's going on in the world, and then we can struggle to sort of orientate our own perspective. We can lose hope, we can find the grief come in, and so this full moon really is helping us orientate back to our present moment, back to who we are in our locality, and how we want to move through the world and not necessarily be governed by the conditioning of the outside world. So beautiful energy here. Now the sun is over in the sign of Sagittarius. Now, whereas the ninth house is traditionally called the house of the gods, the third house is the house of the goddess. And this is where we bring our big picture philosophies into our day-to-day. How do we find resonance and deeper meaning in those little things, in going to the shop, of doing the washing up, those sort of little things that we do on a day-to-day basis. It is your local community, your environment, and as well as the lens in which you communicate through. It's linked into learning new things, and therefore schools, as well as short distance trips and siblings. So the sun is going to be illuminating, perhaps some old wounds that have blocked your perspectives. For example, say someone at school told you you'd never amount to anything, that your perspectives are a bit weird, and that stopped you from believing in the magical reality. This moon can help release those bonds, those wounds that are over in the third. Also linked into siblings as well. That can also have an effect on the way that we perceive the world. I'm just reminded of hearing about two siblings who basically went and did the same university degree, right? There's an enmeshment, right, of not being able to go your own way and go your own path. And I feel like this is really going to help liberate whatever sort of enmeshment that you may have had with your siblings, both positive and negative, that's really allowing you to be confident in the way that you roam through the world, and how you find meaning in your day-to-day. It's the lens in which you communicate through. So this is really getting an alignment, an upgrade of your perspectives and your capacity to communicate it, to be able to implement it into the day-to-day, have the vision and the clarity to do so. Without, so sometimes when we share our perspectives, right, we can get a bit frustrated. Perhaps if somebody doesn't agree with us, we can get our heckles up, we can get all defensive. And this moon is really helping us shift out of its mutable energy. It's allowing us to be more in a flow state with that. Diana, we did get a flipper. I swear we got a flipper. Yeah, there we go. Dialama doe shale moto ela diene moto ela di anima ot o shinia diale moela di shine moto fala di shine moto ela di anima oto ela madina. Okay. So they want, even though it wasn't a split deck when we're doing it, we're still getting the split. They wanted me to cut the deck. Diala moitiani moitala ma dianima otoela dianima oena. Now, who rules Gemini? Because whatever's going on with the ruler is influencing what's going on with this moon. And Mercury rules Gemini, and Mercury is over in the sign of Sagittarius and retrograde. Itoela modoela diania. It's stationing direct. It's really powerful. I go into a lot more detail about this in the collective reading, and this is a real refinement in the way that you express yourself, the way that you find meaning and process your environment, having deeper resonance and getting some really good downloads that are serving your root soul energy and bringing that to the surface. A real sense of adding the nuance and depth to the way that you communicate. Itala diali mo yala diala mo ot ilama it at imo ot anima shali mo ot, and finding a deeper, as I say, a deeper meaning and resonance with how you show up in the day to day. Yala mo yala et anima, and maybe again reflecting on old ways of communicating, old paradigms, old limiting beliefs, and really refining and shifting through them. Ila di shali mo tofiala diala, and it is the house of communication, and you know, Mercury being there is lots of downloads from source, from other places, you know, perhaps getting a lot of wisdom and support from your local community that's allowing you Diala, Dishenimotoela, allowing you to sort of break free and understand the world in a better way. Itoela, Dishenimoela, Enama, Otoela. Now, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. And so we want to look to where Jupiter is, because Jupiter will be influencing Mercury and therefore influencing this moon. Jupiter is also influencing the sun. Where's Jupiter? Well, up in your 9th house. Now, Libra, I love a Jupiter in the 9th. It really is realigning your perspectives, finding greater wisdom and deeper understanding and a confidence in the way that you move through the world. I've done a Jupiter and Gemini transit series. That's still live and still very, very relevant. Yeah, I only have Jupiter here every 12 years. So it's a big energy. And so I do recommend that transit. Jupiter's got its own playlist. It's really easy to find. So Jupiter is also retrograde. And so there's a real sense of deepening your inner wisdom, your inner faith. This may involve questioning things. And that's a great part of the process to expand into a higher perspective. So Jupiter is influencing Mercury. So this is really allowing you to find a deeper way of expressing your perspectives with others, or finding that meaning and that higher perspective and implementing it in the way that you perceive your environment and perceive the information that you're collecting and how you share it. And these are in each other's realms. So there's a feedback loop between these two houses, between these two planets. They're supporting each other's journeys. They're facilitating a real sense of expansion and a deepening of our understanding of reality, and it's very, very powerful. So there's a real condensing of the energy between your perspectives and how you implement them in order for your needs to be met on a day-to-day basis, for you to really elevate your how you give and receive nourishment, because that is often the moon's energies. Now I'm going to mention some aspects, but I'm only going to talk about one of them, because the rest I talk about in the collective reading. So the Mercury is making a trine to Mars in Leo, and Mars is retrograde over in your 11th house of hopes and dreams, friends, groups and alliances, and reaping the benefits from your 10th house. They're both trine the North Node in Aries over in your 7th house of the other. So there is a strong activation of your capacity to have healthier conversations, deeper conversations, on a one-to-one basis, an intimate basis, and how that's then shared through your actions in groups, right? And how you're motivated to take your hopes and dreams to the next level. Can really see this in your capacity to understand your own truth, and how that really affects your relationships and how you interact with the outside world in terms of bigger groups, and what you're reaping from your 10th house, because that's another theme of the 11th. So it's a big fire trine going on. Jupiter is trining Venus over in Aquarius, your 5th house of your creation energy. Venus loves being in the 5th. It's her favorite place to be. So there's an alignment here between your creation energy, your pleasure, your joy, your amusement, your games, what love means to you in regards to your perspectives, and really elevating that and really shifting certain love languages that may have distorted that frequency. It's also where your inner child is. So doing some deep wounds that your inner child may have faced at school or with siblings that have impacted your perspectives and how you find joy, right? Even at the sort of like a real subtle level. Venus is making sure we're elevating that with Jupiter in alignment with each other. Jupiter is also square Saturn. It's going to be exact on Christmas Eve, which is hilarious. I will do a little thing on that. And this is about the way that you work, right? In your 6th house, being the adult in the room, in alignment with higher perspectives. So it's really allowing you to step up to the plate and evolve into those higher perspectives and implement it into the way that you work. So that's a really powerful transit as well. Now, the aspect I want to talk about is the fact that the sun and the moon are both square Neptune over in your 6th house. You know, I already mentioned some of those themes in terms of Saturn being there. It's the adult in the room, it's work, it's how you work, it's physical health, routines, co-workers, and therefore collaboration, pets, and therefore acts of service. And so there's a real sense of Neptune allowing more space for the magic to come in, for more mysticism, a real deeper connection to source in the way that you work, in the way that you're the adult in the room, which is building with the way that you perceive your reality, being able to implement these higher perspectives into the way that you work, and being able to communicate that, and really being able to, as I say, step up to your own existence with that, and allowing yourself to get out of the fear mindset and the rational energy of how things are going to turn out, and allowing that softness of Neptune, that dissolving of Neptune, to allow the magic of source to fuse through you and strengthen your incarnation on this planet. It's forming a T-square with the sun and the moon, and the release point of a T-square is the bottom of the T, which is where Neptune is. So this really is allowing you to put into practice these perspectives on your day-to-day basis. So they work for you. So that's the astrology. I'm trying to keep these super short because of the delay. So let's get into the tarot. The intention of this moon. We have the Emperor, the Two of Wands in reverse, and the Sun. So this is you getting in your power, understanding your own perspective and the wisdom of it, feeling confident and sovereign, understanding your own divinity. And this is activating a new cycle. Right, because the Two of Wands is all about getting the lay of the land, right, of observing your reality and figuring out what that means to you. And it's come in reverse, and with it following the Emperor, it's like, no, you know now. It's really, there's a intuitive understanding that's in your unconscious space that is really activating your own power, right, and your capacity to start a new adventure and go forth. And then we have the Sun, the vision, the clarity, the joy, right? There's the inner child, really happy. There's a sense of freedom here. There's a sense of clarity of your perspectives. This is such a powerhouse of energy coming in for you, Libra, and I'm here for it. It's really breaking free of things that have bound you, right? The sense of stagnation with that Two of Wands in the upright now being in the reverse. And when I say stagnation, I just mean pause and restriction, but there is this sense of now there's movement, and it's coming from you, and it's not coming from the collective, social, or individual conditioning. And with the Sun energy, right, we've obviously got the Sun over in Sagittarius. This is your ability to communicate this from a place of joy, right, and not, if, as I said, if someone doesn't agree with you and or has another opinion, that then you then forget your own opinion, you forget your own perspective, and then you're guided by the light of somebody else. This is all about autonomy, and I really love that. And finding more resonance in your day-to-day because of that awareness. How to work with this energy. We've got the Six of Cups, we've got Sagittarius, we've got the Temperance card, and the Empress. Hello, Venus. So the Six of Cups, this kind of links into you know, what I said about schools and siblings, right? Because this is all about being at peace with the past, right? And this is the biggest house in tarot, so there's an element of safety and security. So they're really wanting you to look at the past and find the flowers, right? Find the peace, find the safety in your present moment, and realize that everything that's happened to you in the past, we can make peace with, right? We can let go of certain wounds, and this is in your emotional body. And so this may have affected where Neptune is in Pisces, of you being the adult in the room for yourself, and there's a great deal of comfort and security coming in. So this is the energy that you've got to work with, and it is calling you, hey, maybe there's some things you need to reflect on and try and find the sweetness, try and find the abundance in those things, rather than the grief, because it follows the Five of Cups. So it is really trying to get you to reorientate your perspective to heal your emotional body. We then have Temperance, and this is the alchemical process. It's been showing up quite a lot compared to the Lovers card, which is the Gemini card. And, you know, obviously Jupiter is ruling Mercury and vice versa. So there's an intermingling here. And it's saying, okay, now we're refining, now we're elevating our perspectives, right? Because this is about bringing your angelic frequency into the 3D world through the refinement of self. It's also about acknowledging different thought processes and different actions, because the water is going up into the cup. So it representing more of the magical energy, right? Beyond the old patterns, beyond the old limiting beliefs and the old perspectives. So it is calling you to do the work. I'm afraid that's the thing we have to do across the board. It doesn't really matter what's going on in your life. It's about showing up and doing the work and realizing you've got the energy around you. This is helping amplify this to really refine beyond that limiting belief and really allow your higher self to come through. And so this is a sense of really figuring out, okay, what with this new energy, this new frequency, what are your perspectives? How do you want to show up that have nothing to do with what society expects us to believe and expects us to perceive? And this also can be the act of communicating that, maybe writing it down, maybe practicing, like finding that real strength of your voice in the way that you communicate. They've got my hands over the throat chakra. And it's come with the Empress. She's telling you, feel good in your incarnation, right? Get creative, fertile energy, get in your power. You got the Emperor and the Empress here. So this is big energy of you coming into union with yourself, right? The feminine and masculine. It is also Venus in your 5th house of your creation energy, your play, your amusement, games. She wants you to have fun, get creative, find the joy in life rather than the heaviness of the grief. This doesn't have to just link into schools and the past. This can be about moving beyond the grief of what's going on in the world. It's not about denying that that's happening or not playing a part in facilitating it. If you hold on to that and fall into the pit, you're feeding that energy. It's just facts. It's just facts. Well, actually, no, it's just my opinion that that's what happens. So there's something really about shifting the mindset and finding more of the light and more of the joy in your life that's going to give more resonance to your individual experience, which will then be more accessible to the collective. You're no longer in conflict. I mean, look at those cards. The Sun and the Empress. Big positive energy coming in for you, Libra. Right, so at the bottom of the deck was the Tower in reverse, and then I split the deck and I got the Knight of Cups. So this is saying that structures are going to be pulled down, right? Limiting beliefs are going to be broken away internally with the Tower in reverse. Reversals for me are often the inner journey rather than the external factors, right here with the Tower. And so there's one side of this which is about inner perspectives that have blocked you, that no longer serve you, are being pulled down, as well as this can be an end of a cycle of some dramatic things happening in your life that have distorted your perspectives, that's allowing more freedom for you to roam from a place of love, right? The true romantic of the Knight of Cups, of like following your heart, following your intuition, moving through the world from a place of love. And I love that this is the root energy coming in that's supporting, that's going to be here for you, that you're going to be acting from a place of the Knight of Cups. It's going to be very instinctive. Big energy here, my loves. I am here for it. Okay, what's Mercury up to? So, okay, before I get into the tarot, sorry, spoiler. So Mercury's going direct today, but it's going to go over the retrograde degrees, and it's not going to leave the whole retrograde cycle until the 3rd of January. So this is the energy to support you during this third and final part of the retrograde cycle, the whole cycle. Even though it's going direct, it's about implementing everything that we've kind of learned from the retrograde itself. And we've got the 7 of Pentacles, right? And so this is in your 3rd house, and it's saying that you're moving beyond the seeds that you've planted. Right, because in this is about planting seeds and taking care of them, being diligent with them. It's like this is letting you know that you've gained the wisdom from these seeds, and you're now going into the next stage. And it's rather than you're going to see more manifestation of the way that you communicate, and there's a real sense of it serving your practical reality. So it's more outward in an expression, and it's moving away from that sort of initiatory energy, and it's taking you further into into your capacity to manifest Itiala at a faster rate because of the way that your mindset is in the day-to-day, of finding a lot more movement and expansion in the way that you're finding meaning, in the way that you move through your day-to-day. A lot more opportunities I feel are going to come through as well, where you're just going to have more joy and more movement in your day-to-day. So that's the energy that you're working with. And then this is the Ace of Swords, so it's saying follow your divine inspiration, right? You've planted those seeds and now you're getting a lot of downloads and a lot of activation codes that are in alignment with your sovereignty, the truth of how you want to express yourself, how you find meaning, a different perspective coming in, a fresh new energy that is taking you sort of like this. The Seven of Pentacles in the upright can be a bit frustrated of not seeing the things that you want manifest in the day-to-day. And so that's in reverse. And then because of that frustration sort of falling away, you're getting more clarity. I want you to act on these. I want you to, you know, find more opportunities to communicate from a place of truth, right, and get in alignment with your higher perspective and put that into practice. At the bottom of the deck we have the King of Cups. So this is really saying all of this journey, how it's going to manifest moving forwards, is you not drowning in your emotional body, right? There's a real sense of you being very confident within yourself, within your creativity, from a place of love, right? You're not worrying about the chaos that may be around you. You're not getting knocked off your perch. You're very stable. You're very strong in your emotional body. Again, you know, say you're having a debate with somebody and before you may have either changed your mind and not, you know, sort of people pleased, or you may have got your defenses up and being quick to an emotional response, felt hypersensitive, felt attacked. King of Cups is saying that's not happening anymore, right? And now you're more in your flow in your day-to-day. You're getting more creative in your day-to-day, and you're being able to really stand in your power in the way that you communicate and the way that you express yourself. Right, oracle cards. Woo-hoo-hoo. Always do your best. Honor yourself. This is from the Four Agreements Oracle. All the decks that I'm using in this reading are in the description box, as are the degrees of the moon. So you can check your chart to see what it's affecting you. So honor yourself. Look at that sovereignty, right? You got the Emperor and the Empress. This is about you and the Dove of Peace. I love that because you got the King of Cups and the Knight of Cups. So there's been a lot of cup energy showing up in these readings because of that Neptune energy of a real sense of emotional peace, right? That's allowing to elevate our perspectives and allow us to create from a really imaginative, beautiful, loving place. Honor the man or woman that you are. Take the risk to express your dream. Taking action is about living fully and expressing what you are. So I love that. That's really summing up the upgrade of the ninth of your perspectives and how you implement it in the 3D. Ooh, love that. Ooh, okay. Okay, what's at the bottom? No. Words. Okay, next up is from Rainbow Brainskull Oracle deck. I love control, wish I had some. When the floor feels like it's fallen from underneath you, that is actually what is true. That is actually what true reality is. Control was always an illusion. The illusion will return, but for now, enjoy the feeling of free fall. When things get boring again, you will reminisce about how alive you felt when you were falling. I feel like this is linked into this sense of the liberation around your understanding of reality, right? That Neptune is helping dissolve a lot of things that we thought were really core energy, and this is getting dissolving. And so there may be this element, especially with that Tower in reverse, of things falling away that is making you feel like you're out of control, but it's actually getting you into the King of Cups, of like you're going to be able to stand in your power and be in that free-flowing state of the Knight of Cups, despite what if things turn up that in the past would have knocked you out of your perspectives. Gemini is very open, it's very curious. It isn't about control, it's about adapting and changing and evolving. And how you're going through a very invigorating phase. The nodes are nearly leaving your sign, Libra, and you're going to see such a shift when they do in January, when all of that work of that refinement of self, of releasing and letting go of certain ways of being, you're going to start to manifest in an ease of being. Itoela di shalima doela jetimbo doela diele motoela dianima o toela dishni. Now I'm looking at the bottom of the deck and I'm going to read it to you. We have good. Just been looking at screens a lot. You may need to take a break from computers. Go find a tree to be friends with. Besides, think of how fun it will be to return to the screen once you've had some time to rebuild your tolerance. Now, this feels like getting away from the chaos of the bigger picture, right? Of the big outside world energy, of also other people's opinions, other people's ideas, and getting back into nature and grounding yourself and centering yourself. Hello, the Empress. And this is when you're really going to get the integration of this higher perspective come in that isn't clouded by the external world. Well, Libra, I'm going to leave it there. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, hit that like button, leave me a comment. It will bring me so much joy. If you want a personal reading, my website is in the description box. If you want to pay by PayPal, email me directly. Remember, there's 50% off Mars retrograde personal readings. Again, email me for that. But other than that, Libra, be good to yourselves, be good to those around you, safe travels, and be well until we meet again.